Welcome along to quarter-finals day of the WTA Brussels Open, this premier event in its second year at the very picturesque Royal Primrose Tennis Club. And what a day for the Radwanska family. One in each half of the draw. One at the very top and one at the very bottom. Urszula Radwanska, who's qualified in, made her first quarter-final of the year, had a wonderful, equaling best career win against Marion Bartley yesterday, the world number 8, 6-4, 6-2. She plays Sofia Arvidsson, the Swedish number 1, in our first match for you today of 4 on Eurosport. Chris Bradnam again alongside Sam Smith. And a family day for the album to be cherished, Sam, both in the quarterfinals.
It's great to see Urszula fit and playing well, because she's had so many problems with a back injury. She was knocked out pretty much 2010 was a wipeout, and getting back from a back injury, very, very tough. And I get the feeling that Urszula, she's about a year and a half younger than older sister Agnieszka, and she's always been around the tour. I'm sure it's her dream, actually, to be at the same tournaments and to be doing as well as her older sister.
19 degrees is 67 Fahrenheit. It's a scorcher in Britain, as it is on the programme. It's got just a club-type feel. It's one of them that bring their picnics, and many of the spectators are members. So our first match for you, confirmed. That's followed not before 2 o'clock CET. 1 o'clock in the UK. It could be a bit later than that because of the exhibition matches in Paris again, but it's Pironkova, former Wimbledon semi-finalist, and Kaia Kanepi of Estonia, 3 times a major quarter-finalist. And then it'll be Agnieszka, the top seed, the world number 3, against Van Uytvanck of Belgium, a local heroine. And that'll be repeated on international. Eurosport 1, 6 o'clock in the UK, 7 o'clock CET. So here she is, Urszula Radwanska, 21 years old, against 28-year-old Sofia Arvidsson, ranked 62 in the world, has been as high as 29 on the 1st of May, 6 years ago now. She's been on the tour a long time, born and still lives in Halmstad in Sweden. She won her second career title, and it was the second time she won Memphis. She won it 6 years ago. She beat Wozniacki en route to the final back then, when Wozniacki didn't even have a ranking, and beat Domohovska in the final. And then this year she beat Rakovic, the Kiwi, for her second title in Memphis. Quarter-final last year, she beat Jankovic second round before losing to the eventual runner-up Peng Shuai. So her second quarter-final of the year, and here in Brussels. What do you make of Arvidsson, Sam?
Well, she has been around a long time. She's had many years sort of around the 50, 60 mark. Some years she has a slightly better year. I certainly feel she's improved the last few years since working with Lars Wolgren, former player on the men's tour. There's Lars. Probably would have played about the similar time you would have played.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit.
Absolutely.
A bit younger than you, but Lars, good player, and he's made a big difference. Really, she needed some help with her serve, her footwork, and her forehand, but improving and just a lovely girl.
Ranked 90. Urszula. She was 62 in the world in August 09 before the back injury, as Sam was saying, which kept her out for 6 months in 2010, just the 9 tournaments. This year, second round at the Australian Open, she lost to Costea of Romania. And in Patia City, she lost to the eventual champion Daniela Hantuchova. She's had 7 first rounds as well, so it's just trying to sort of establish herself, Sam, isn't it, on the full WTA events, getting wins, getting past those one-pointers in the first round, to try to build on what was such huge promise from a younger age, because like older sis, she was a junior Wimbledon champion, of course.
Yes, she's has 2 very good wins here. Varvara Lavchenko, I know she's not a household name, but she's been having a really good year. She's now a naturalised American, and I think a lot of eyebrows raised against a win against Marion Bartley. That was very unexpected. Not ideal preparation really for Bartley going into the French Open, and Bartley had a great run in Paris last year, didn't she, making semis. There's the new coach,
Thomas Wiktorowski, head cup coach for Poland. Working with both sisters.
It's interesting with Urszula. She's born 1990. That's the same year as Caroline Wozniacki. So that's where she is. And her and Wozniacki, at the age of 15 and 16, were pretty much the same standard, because I remember in the semi-finals of Junior Wimbledon, I called the match, I'll never forget it. Urszula had match points against Caroline in the semi-finals and looked to be going on to win. That was back in 2006. In the end, Wozniacki won and then went on to win the title. So their careers have gone in very different directions. But Urszula is very different from Agnieszka in terms of her personality. You look at her stroke production, I don't feel that she's as technically sound. For some reason, they both had the same coach with their father. I don't feel she's as solid as Radwanska, as her sister Agnieszka. And she has a much more aggressive game, which actually really suits her personality. And that's great. We had this conversation yesterday. That's very good coaching from Father Robert.
Treating them as individuals.
Yes, he has. I mean, there's a lot of similarities, but I'm not convinced about the forehand of Urszula Radwanska. If you look at the production, I'm sure we'll see it during the match. It's very, very close to her head, and it's quite a high take back. She prefers a quicker surface. Clay is probably her least favourite surface, as it is for her sister.
First meeting between these two, both of Radwanska's opponents in the first 2 rounds. It was a first meeting. She's only lost 10 games in 4 sets, so she's putting together a wonderful tournament, having qualified top seed in the qualies. That takes some doing as well, Sam, because you're disappointed you didn't get that slot, top seed in qualifying, so you missed out on the main draw. But then she beat Alexei Glatch of America 6-2 in the third, having dropped the opening set on a breaker. And then she beat Ranrova of Russia 6-4, 6-2 to qualify. So well done, Urszula. Enjoying a quarter-final here on her debut in Brussels. So it's the first of the women's quarter-finals of the Brussels Open, this premier event. Sofia Arvidsson, the Swedish #1, ranked 62 in the world, quarter-finalist last year, looking to go one stage better at least, up against the qualifier, Urszula Radwanska, the Polish #2. Already guaranteed herself $15,675, these two. $724,000 Urszula's won in her career. Arvidsson's 1.4 million.
It's easy maths, isn't it? Pretty much, you double your money, roughly, every round you win. Even I could cope with that.
Sofia Arvidsson to serve.
The Arvidsson to begin.
Play. Love.
Similar strappling to the shoulder that Agnieszka has, or has had.
30 love.
Arvidsson obviously goes into this match the favourite, but Radwanska will be, I think, tough out here this morning.
Close, but wide.
30-15.
What Urszula actually does well, I think she so wants to be as good as sister. There's such a hunger there.
Yeah.
What she'll have to do, she'll have to keep the ball away from the Arvidsson backhand, or just make the Swede run onto that backhand and get the ball more to the forehand.
I've called quite a lot of Arvidsson's matches, and she was involved in the Fed Cup tie against Great Britain this year, and she won her matches pretty handily. And I've always written down slow to her left. I've written in big red letters. It's funny how players move better one way or the other, isn't it? It's like that. She looked a little bit laboured going to that wider ball on the backhand. Well, she slides into the forehand.
She doesn't move with an open stance, does she? She doesn't move and then get there with her outside leg. She steps across.
Yeah.
She's got no shot of getting back.
Yeah.
Game, Radwanska.
Well, that's the perfect start for the qualifier. 4 points in a row from Love 30.
First game.
It's the immediate break.
When you look at the names left in the draw, yes, good players left in this draw, no doubt. Sivilkova, Kanepi, obviously her older sister, but there is opportunities galore out here for someone as ambitious as Urszula Radwanska to really give that ranking a push. And it's all about, that's why she's playing tour events now all the time, playing qualifying, because she wants to be with her sister. The difference this week is she's qualified in Sydney, in Doha, in Miami, but lost in the first round. You don't get a lot for that, do you?
Very true.
But if you qualify, win a round or two,
huge difference.
Then you get the ranking shifting.
That's the balance. When you're ranked around 90, do you still play some ITFs? Do you just play, you know, the main WTA tournaments? Scheduling is always a fascinating subject, isn't it? Winning, of course, confidence, the ultimate. Very alert around the ball, isn't she, Radwanska?
15 love.
There's a high energy about her.
Yeah, there's an intensity that, in a way, her sister doesn't have. I mean, Agnieszka has great concentration, great composure. You know, don't watch Urszula and think you're going to see another version of Agnieszka, because it's not the case. I mean, technically, they're very different grips, particularly on that forehand side.
Super. She loves taking the ball early too, doesn't she?
She has a very different game pattern, but it completely suits her personality, very fiery. And on this particular surface, she needs to play an all-court game because she doesn't generate a lot of pace. I can see why she prefers the first surfaces, because she gets some pace out of the court. And that's the biggest thing they have in common. They don't generate a lot of pace.
$40 low. $40-15.
It's time to serve a double.
Game,
Comfortable hold to extend the lead.
Radwanska leads 2 games to love.
They've come out the blocks very differently, haven't they? Radwanska desperate to get on with this, sees a spot in the semis, and I have to say, Sophia Arvidsson it's a little sleepy this morning. Just hasn't quite found her rhythm or her timing.
200 points up for grabs for semi-finalists. They've already guaranteed 120, plus Radwanska, having qualified, an extra 20, so she's already got 140 points. Sam's going to have a stab at where her ranking might go. Close. Is there going to be a ring? Yeah.
You do realise that with me working out rankings, that's more maths involved there. So how many points has she got already?
For this tournament, she's already got 140 points.
Okay, well that will take her to around, about to Anne Kjothebong's ranking, about 76.
Right.
And if she gets more?
220 if she makes semis.
So what will be the total?
Well, I think he's going out, but better to be safe than sorry.
Love 30.
It's all Radwanska from 30 love up, Arvidsson.
She wins, she goes top 70. And that might be crucial because it might mean a spot at the Olympics. Just don't forget that's what they're all going for. In fact, this is a huge match.
Cut-off's Monday after the French, isn't it? Yes,
it is.
Yeah.
The cut-off is going to be around 70.
Yeah, it's perfect timing to make a semi here. Ooh, it's fabulous.
15-30.
She's able to recover from being very wide on the backhand. Too good. 2 more break points.
15-40.
I can quickly tell you she's not defending any points at the French Open either. Lost first round in qualifying. I mean, this potential match could be this plus a round at the French and she's in. That's where she has to really think about her returns, taking them down to the wings of Arvidsson. You do not want to allow the Swede to get hold of that backhand. His backhand's very good. That's top 20 backhand.
Well, she reads the game as well as older sis, no doubt about that. She hasn't gone the wrong way once yet.
Radwanska leads 3 games
It's
to
3
love.
Radwanska first set. Well, time to collect the thoughts, and Arvidsson, this is a sluggish start.
Yes, not really going. There's a real difference in intensity on either side of the net. The great thing about Arvidsson, though, and she says it's her greatest quality, is that she's a very calm individual. She might be too calm out here this morning, but it's not something that would... She could lose the first set, and I don't think it would... I don't think her heart rate would go up even a beat. She would just get on with the next set. It's a great quality, but sometimes she could just get a little more fired up.
She loves Sudoku, evidently, Arvidsson. Loves solving puzzles. Well, she's got one here right now. Has won a doubles title, Urszula. That was with her sister. Istanbul 5 years ago.
I bet they didn't miss too many volleys.
No.
But again, we had long discussions about this yesterday. Game pattern, making the right game pattern for your personality and your talent. Urszula Radwanska does that perfectly. She's not going to be able to play long rallies with her technique.
If you break tennis down, it's actually quite a simple sport, isn't it? It's question and answers.
But if she tried to play the same way as her older sister, she would be 200 in the world. Because that forehand, I'm sorry, is going to break down 3 or 4 shots. It's going to go.
Certainly playing towards it more, Arvidsson.
15-30.
Radwanska's taken the tape off her shoulder. Interesting how far behind the baseline she stands, bearing in mind she doesn't step up with the left foot. Very rarely see that. a real plan of attack here now.
15-40.
She shut the commentary door, she heard you, Sam.
Game, Arvidsson.
Arvidsson
Radwanska
gets on the
leads,
scoreboard with a break.
3-1.
We saw a couple of examples in that game where also Ursa is very similar to her sister, and you're going to see it here. And this is why she doesn't like clay, because neither of the girls like the ball up high. That's the one area where neither are particularly comfortable.
Lob 50.
How well does she read the game?
15 all.
Well, I always say it when I'm doing her sister's matches, that one of the reasons she reads the game, very much like Martina Hingis, is she played a lot of matches when she was young. A lot of club matches in Germany, playing every weekend.
Yeah, grew up in Grunau. Her dad was a coach.
30-15.
You're playing matches against players older than you with more experience, not just players of your own age that might play the same way, and you become a match player. You play lots of matches. You don't stand there hitting the ball up and down all the time. And you might argue, there's a lot of arguments that the Williams sisters hardly played any matches when they were young. They did play for a while, but I wouldn't say either of those two read the game particularly well. They're just brilliant athletes. That's why they get to every ball.
Held serve yet, Arvidsson. Interesting that she would look for the forehand off that ball, because after that backhand, this could have been another backhand with a bit of footwork.
Which is her best shot. And she's got a real old frying pan grip there, hasn't she? She's in a really extreme Western, right on the, knuckles sitting right on top of the grip.
Advantage, Arvidsson.
Expression hasn't changed, has it, for Arvidsson? She is so chill. She's just a typical chilled out Swede. She really is. She might not be blonde, but she's a Swede.
Interesting, isn't it? We saw Arvidsson really attack the Radwanska forehand
Yes.
about 3 or 4 minutes. She's got success with that and it's gone completely away from it.
And then it's forgotten. I like the way young Urszula plays, and she's very quick to take the ball down the line, but it really works for her.
Yeah.
She's not out here to play long rallies.
Advantage Arvidsson. Game, Arvidsson.
Arvidsson saves a break point and gets herself back into this opening set.
Radwanska leads 3 games to 2.
Still a breakup, Urszula Radwanska. But lost the last couple of games, so this is an important game, this one, to stabilise again. 3-2 first set. About 20 minutes played.
Low 50.
On the 1 point behind a second serve so far, Radwanska. That's something that Agnieszka has to deal with.
Low 30.
Just take a look at this forehand here from Urszula. The preparation starts very late. It doesn't even start when the ball crosses the net, which is when it should start to happen. And when the ball bounces, she's not at the back of her swing. She's still, it's a big old stroke production. It goes right up in front of her face, above her head. I love the backhand.
So simple, isn't it? Straight back, straight through. There's not a lot that can go wrong with it.
Great, good volleys, good mover, good reader. Lots of pluses about Urszula, but I just feel the forehand is clunky, as is the serve.
Ooh, that is wide. In real time, that looked like it caught the line.
15-40.
Wide, clearly. No inspection from Caroline Kramer, the Aussie in the chair, and it's 2 more break points. Three games in a row each to level this opening set.
Well, the Sudoku is working, isn't it? Yeah. She's starting to get the mixture right. Don't forget, they haven't played before.
Yeah, she looks the favourite now, Arvidsson, doesn't she, after what we've seen for 20-odd minutes?
She's coming to life, isn't she?
Shame, because it was brilliant defence from the Swede.
Low Love 15.
It's interesting, Sam, when Radwanska looks to go to the net off the forehand, she does shorten the backswing and hits through it more. I mean, she's 21 now. Is it too late to make a modification to that forehand swing?
No.
Do you think she will? Do you think she sees it as an issue? Fascinating to ask her,
I don't know. All I feel that she needs to do, just having a cold look at it, is I just feel the racket is taken back too close to her head. And I'd love to see it a little bit further away from her, but also the easiest thing is the take back is too late. It won't destroy her timing because she hasn't got any timing really on that forehand. You can see there, when that ball hit the net, she was at the back of her, almost at the back of her swing to her backhand. That was a really good test. You wouldn't have seen that on the forehand.
Off the line.
Love 40.
And 3 more break points. She's up to, well, she's had break points in every one of Arvidsson's service games. Broken twice already. She's just starting to muscle her, Arvidsson. Seeing a lot of this now.
It's amazing how much body Arvidsson uses on that forehand. And you see often her right leg comes right up. It's very off balance. You can see why the backhand is better than the forehand. Backhand's good, stable base, balanced, stable. Forehand, you can see why she pulls across it, because she doesn't really use any timing with it.
That's good. Backhand to the rescue. Breaks Arvidsson for a third time to get back in front at 4-3 first set.
Radwanska leads 4 games to 3.
How does one of the world's top tennis players treat herself between games and continents? She flies Turkish Airlines.
Game, set, and match Wozniacki.
We are Turkish Airlines. We are globally yours.
New balls in play. Radwanska again with the break advantage, 4-3 first set. Could be a Radwanska final. What a day that would be for the family. Brilliant. She's really looking to come in a lot, isn't she? She's got the skills.
Well, she can't be an out-and-out baseliner, because to be an out-and-out baseliner clay court, you've got to be cast iron and solid from both sides, and she's not. But super lovely feel, great game pattern.
It's a fantastic touch shot, wasn't it?
15 all.
Anissa was saying that when they first started playing tennis with her sister in Germany, Dad had them just hitting with a balloon to start with, not even tennis balls. It was just fun. So they didn't even know that it was tennis.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you can imagine them doing lots of little short tennis and in the service box, lots of touchy-feely. You can imagine him setting up all little games. They must have done a lot of that because they both have the great feel and touch.
Yeah. Brilliant. Talking of the devil, it could also explain why they maybe don't hit the ball that hard. In the early days, they might not have been able to afford many balloons. It's so crystal clear, isn't it? Having heard you pointed out the deficiency technically in the Radwanska forehand, then as soon as Arvidsson starts playing to it, it breaks down.
3, 4 shots.
But is she actually thinking that, Arvidsson, or is she just thinking, good, I've won the point, as opposed to how and why?
I don't know, do I? That racket,
it should do so.
Sometimes on contact, that racket face gets open. It's completely open.
Another break point, and she's converted each time she's got one, Arvidsson.
Game, Arvidsson.
So that's 6 breaks of serve in the 8 games.
In a more serious answer to your question, I'm not sure that there's a great strategic thing going on out here with Arvidsson. Maybe she is directing a little more action to the forehand. I don't know. I think she's quite wrapped up in what she's doing and her ball strike.
Any notes for Lars Wahlgren?
She's a great reader, apparently. That's what she says. Reads a lot. Loves going to just a cafe on her own with a book and reading. And apparently it's Anna Ivanovic, who's another big reader on tour, who gives all the other players recommendations.
Made it.
Lob 30.
Tactically a very good idea, bringing Arvidsson in. who must have only won a couple of points when she's been at the net off smashes. Yes, if you're at the airport, you know, bookstore, thinking, what book shall I get for my flight? And have you been wandering around? Phone Anna. Apparently, she's the best on the old recommendations.
Ooh, very close.
It's
Caroline Kramer says, "Do you want me to check it?"
Tactically, it's very good though, isn't it, from Radwanska, pulling Arvidsson out wide to the backhand where she doesn't play as well. Right here, so she was open stance, but she's not getting back anywhere. And then there's a big space. Get a bust down there.
Probably doesn't need to go over the line.
Doesn't need to go
does
over the line.
Not the best mover, Arvidsson.
But you know, I feel the strategy is coming from the pole.
Yeah. Yeah.
The power and the muscle is coming from the Swede.
Mm.
All. 40-30.
Frustration she showed didn't put her off.
Great width in this point, and this was not easy. This was dropping like a stone. She has played some beautifully constructed points out here.
She missed that.
She's not Agnieszka, is she? That's what I said. She's a real fireball inside.
It's a good hold from Arvidsson from love 30, and frustration again for Radwanska. She's lost the last three service games, 4-5. So very much advantage Arvidsson. 3 love down, break down again. We've got 2 breaks back. So pressure now on Radwanska, who has not held the last 3 service games. Serving at 4-5 first set. Brilliant. And Arvidsson now is saturating the pole's forehand. Then goes back to the backhand and pays the price.
30 love.
Well, maybe she's just thinking about the book she's reading at the moment. I don't know. Maybe she's thinking about the plot and what happens next, and not concentrating on Urszula's forehand.
Low.
Beautifully produced stroke. Pretty pacey, that too. Haven't had a love game in the match yet. Great time to serve one. Brilliant touch again.
Arguably, she has a better touch than her sister. I mean, these are fantastic drop shots, played at the right time, inside the court. Actually, with some net clearance. I mean, she doesn't even bother moving after it because she knows it's a winner. Because it really just bites into the clay.
Done a lot of writing, Lars Morgan. Maybe he's doing his postcards.
Love. All.
It's interesting. This should be Arvidsson's match, really. She is the better all-round player. You know, as the ranking suggests, Radwanska at 90, Arvidsson at 62. It's been as high as top 30.
Seeing a lot of winners now.
Yeah, she's realising that she's got to be a little more aggressive than she was originally. But as I said, this should be her match. But with Radwanska, you know, what you get from her is great strategy and great movement, and she's the competitor out here.
Game, Arvidsson.
Comfortable hold for Arvidsson. So Radwanska will have to hold serve for a second time to stay in this opening set.
Arvidsson leads 6 games to 5.
5-6. For Radwanska, Sam, she's been at a high, number 62 in the world. That was August 09, when she had a terrific year. 3 quarterfinals that year. Birmingham, Istanbul and LA. 4th round of Indian Wells, she beat Kuznetsova, ranked 8th in the world, before losing to Wozniacki. And then the back problems of 2010. But do you see her, enough ability in her, to see her as a top 50 player, say?
Yes. Definitely, I have to say, it's pretty rough at 18. You're 60 in the world, which is a very good ranking, particularly when you feel that she's a very slight physique. I mean, you see them next to each other, and you know, Arvidsson has the physique that you see on the tour now, not Radwanska. Tough at 18 at that ranking to get a major injury. I mean, knocked out 2010. I mean, she's still really just about coming back.
Yeah.
I definitely see her as top 50. She's a very good player.
So the best part of 3/4 of an hour. Radwanska serving again to stay in this opening set at 5-6.
Low. All.
And use that forehand more, Arvidsson, especially the into-out one.
It's routine now, isn't it? You just don't expect it to miss. When we see her stats at the end of this set or beginning of the next set, there will be a lot of errors and they will be predominantly off that forehand. The stats won't say that, but that's what we're saying.
The forehand seems better down the line. Would you go with that?
Yes.
She seems to hit through it more.
As long as she doesn't go too much to the line, because it always feels like the flight is going from in to out. It's on the inside of the ball.
Boy, that's panic. That's just hoping that her touch is going to get her to 40-30. Instead of that, it's set point. I don't think I've ever seen a server stand that far back behind the baseline with no step up. It makes no sense, does it?
You know what also she does? She's a couple of centimetres up the racket with the grip on the serve. Yeah. She's got quite a lot of butt at the end of the hand, so she's making the racket about an inch shorter. You have a look where she holds the racket. She should be much further down the butt. There's a lot of butt showing.
Yeah. It stops the wrist really breaking over the top, doesn't it?
Advantage, Radwanska.
Als Wahlgren, her coach, must be, I know Swedes don't go mad, but he must be going mad, because this should be her set. And she might end up losing it.
It's quite a bit of noise.
Juice. Advantage, Radwanska.
This is Arvidsson's bunny hop forehand, I'll call it. That right leg, it just kicks up, doesn't it?
Juice.
Right on the line.
Advantage, Arvidsson.
It's a second set point chance for Arvidsson. Skidded off. Oh, she made that. Radwanska's having a look, so is Carolyn Kramer. She's convinced she has.
No.
Welcome back. Well, as we said, there'll be an inspection, and the ball was out, so it wasn't the set for Arvidsson. She did get another, I mean, that was back to Juice. She then did get another set point, which she's missed as well. So 3 set points have been and gone.
Advantage, Arvidsson.
This is the 3rd set point chance set up by Arvidsson. Another error off that forehand.
She gets a second serve it and just have a look at what she does with it. This is almost unbelievable. I mean, what does Lars Morgan write down in his notepad?
Oops, I think.
Where was she aiming?
Game and first set, Arvidsson. Seven games to 5.
Again, maybe overusing.
And
Full set point
Arvidsson.
chance for Arvidsson.
She goes from being in control emotionally to panic very quickly, doesn't she? And there's not a lot in between. And this is panic. This is panic tennis.
She shows a lot, doesn't she?
Game and first set, Arvidsson.
So it was the first set, and another forehand goes missing for Radwanska. 7-5 Arvidsson.
7 games
That
to
is
5.
some set. 7 breaks in all, twice. Well, she was a double breakdown initially, and then a breakdown again, but Arvidsson comes through it. Phew is probably the final word on his last page.
Whoa. Let's just take a look at these stats, and Radwanska ratio not really working out, and I would have a hazard guess about 18 of those 21 unforced errors off the forehand side. And the problem with Radwanska is that she's got great strengths, the competitiveness, the backhand, the feel, the touch, all that, but she's got some big weaknesses as well, and she is going to have to address those weaknesses if she's going to make it up into that top 50 and beyond. And also, she's a really fiery character. She stomped off court, she got a towel, whacked it against the railing. I mean, it's pretty tame, really, but still,
Yeah.
it's she needs to try and stay a little calmer, particularly on the clay. You have to stay calm. She left her racket behind, which probably wasn't a bad idea that she only took the towel. But for Arvidsson, I mean, that was like a 5-course meal, wasn't it? That opening set with with an aperitif at the start and coffee and biscuits at the end, and then a brandy. It was just like an absolute ordeal. But she did very well after sitting down and thinking she won the set and having a drink to come back and win it. Here we go.
Yeah, really wound up that she didn't secure that opening set. It means so much to her, of course, to try to make a semi-final of a premier event. Talked about the Olympics and chances of qualifying.
This is a match that might get her into the Olympics, so she'll be with her sister on the Polish Olympic team. It's really big. It has a lot to do with being as good as sister, all this tension.
She's looking for Urszula, I think. I think she'll be up there. Super setting.
It's lovely, isn't it? I mean, the
Big
weather's
court.
the weather's perfect, and also the gradient of the seats isn't it's not terribly steep, so it's just got a lovely open feel, and you almost feel like you could be watching a game of cricket, couldn't you? It's
Yes.
just you want to wander in, and you've got big seats, they're not packed in too much, and come and sit and relax. And very rarely now are tournaments staged at clubs. Most of their events are at sort of purpose-built centres, aren't they? But when they're at a club, it has a different feel. And you've got the trees, and it's lovely.
And just to let you know, you've got choices today, because on Eurosport 2 at the moment, Andy Murray is playing in the exhibition event in Paris. So if you fancy watching a bit of Andy Murray, that's on Eurosport 2.
And that's at a lovely club. It's at the Racing Club.
Beautiful
in
club.
Paris.
Huge.
What a lovely club. It has like a 50-metre swimming pool, which I'd be thrilled to bits with.
Yeah.
Where they have synchronised swimming. Some of the top synchronised swimmers in France train there.
Wow.
But it is that. Oh, that's a wonderful club, isn't it? On the outskirts of Paris.
Yeah, it really is. Very relaxed atmosphere there too. Interesting to see how relaxed Radwanska is at the start of the second. She went off in a huff at the end of the first set. She obviously feels she should have won. But it's Arvidsson in the ascendancy who begins the second set. No water on the court was interesting.
Love 15. Wait, please. Ball boy? On the ball there. 15 all.
Another mark, ringed. That is mighty close.
$15.30.
Good effort, and what a lob from Arvidsson. She was quite deep, Radwanska. She was on the service line when she hit that lob.
Does really well with a hot dog. Not too many women on the tour can play the hot dog.
Yeah, it's true.
$30.40.
Yet another break point. Radwanska's 3 from 7. Arvidsson 4 from 7.
This is a very good game pattern from Arvidsson, using the backhand really well. She leans on that so well and then just keeps it simple. Just as again, you know, I always feel she could miss the forehand because she's so off balance. She's always pulling to the left, but margin for error there. That's pretty difficult to defend against, that play.
Advantage, Arvidsson.
I like it when Arvidsson really plays to the corners, because Radwanska physically is not that strong coming out of the corners in the extreme parts of the court.
Oh, it's fabulous. Arvidsson saves another break point.
First game, second set.
More frustration perhaps for Radwanska.
Well, just with Radwanska, just the way she's winning points is just getting a little predictable, because there's a good read there from Arvidsson out wide, which is where she's not particularly quick, and she had to hit the winner because there was no way she's coming back. But also, particularly at the end of that first set, Radwanska overplaying the drop shot and Arvidsson starting to get to them. So she's got to keep mixing up that strategy as Radwanska. And it still has to be attack the forehand of Arvidsson, because she also has a pretty iffy forehand as well. She's just a lot physically stronger, so she gets away with the slightly dodgy technique. And that way they're both very similar. Terrific backhands, but iffy forehands.
15 love. Out. 15 all. Out. 30-15. $40-15. $40-30. Game, Radwanska.
Good put away. Important game that for Radwanska.
1 game all.
Just to get started again.
It's not a million miles away from turning this round. It's very tough when you don't have a big shot, and like Agnieszka, she doesn't have a really big shot. Yes, she can lean on the backhand, but it's tough for her to win points quickly, which is why she likes the faster surface, because the backhand's more effective.
Net.
Whereas Arvidsson can lean on the big backhand. She gets hold of that forehand. She can get through the court.
Hits that well, doesn't she, that forehand?
15
Real
love.
forehand.
Well, if you look at Arvidsson, she has this right leg kickoff. She's always pulling off to the left anyway. She falls to the left all the time. And that's probably the one shot you can get away with falling to left, because you have to hit a winner from that point in the court.
Took a while to hit the winner.
30 low.
I find that quite a surprising stat, actually, from those two. Don't forget though, a lot of those winners from Radwanska in that first set from the net.
looks untidy, doesn't it, the forehand at times?
Game, Arvidsson.
A love game for Arvidsson to extend the lead.
Arvidsson leads 2-1.
Set 2-1 now.
Let the bass kick.
Follow the score of your favorite team live and find the latest results and features with Eurosport's Live Score.
With Eurosport.com's free application available on tablets and smartphones, gain access to all the articles and videos from Eurosport.com, plus get the latest news in real time. Check out the latest results, fixtures and tables, and follow your favourite sports events live.
Supersetting the Royal Primrose Tennis Club. Second year of this event, a premier event, the WTA Brussels Open. First of the women's quarterfinals. Urszula Radwanska, the Polish #2, the qualifier, ranked 90 in the world on her debut here. Up against it, against Sofia Arvidsson, the Swedish #1, ranked 62 at a set 2-1 up. Super. Saw a lot of that in the first set, and if you're just joining us, it was a great start for Radwanska. She went 3-love a double break up, but then Arvidsson came back strong with the 3 games of her own, and then Radwanska broke again to lead 4-3, but was immediately broken back, and then on the 4th set point, Arvidsson securing the opening set 7-5. It's been on serve since then, although Arvidsson saved a break point on the opening game of this set.
Whoa! 30-15.
Good use of the court.
30 all.
There's times when you feel Arvidsson's really got a handle on this match, and then she sort of lets go, doesn't she? Like that.
30.
And she's won nearly 2/3 of her points behind her first serve, Radwanska, but only a third behind her second.
Am I supposed to fall off my chair at that start?
It's a pretty weak second serve, isn't it?
Game, Radwanska.
Touch is just
New balls, please.
fantastic.
2 games all.
Good competitive hold there from Radwanska. Chris, you were talking about how lovely this club is, and it is lovely, but also this tournament in its second year is starting to be established because it is a lovely environment. You know, it's only an hour and a half, you know, barely that, on the train, the fast train, Brussels directly to Paris, Gare du Nord. I mean, that really helps the players. And tournaments sort of stand and fall by little conversations and whispers in the locker room. You know, players that haven't been to Brussels, for example, Matilda Johansson, the #2 Swede, might say to Sophia, "What's that tournament like in Brussels?" "Oh, it's lovely. You know, it's relaxed. It's a great preparation." So, and that's how players end up at these tournaments, and it's ideal. Just get the feeling this is as good practicing and playing matches here as it is being on the courts in Paris. So there's seems to be a little more top dressing here, but the ball's the same.
Of course, such interest, isn't it, in Madrid? The base that the clay is then laid on top to. I mean, that's the most important thing, it seems, getting the base right. We certainly didn't get it right in Madrid.
They're saying that instead of the courts being replaced annually now, which they are, they're just built 5 weeks before the tournament, they're going to be left there permanently.
Just to try to bed them in.
Whereas, you know, this is a club, you've got club members, club matches being played on this court, very prestigious club. And if the courts aren't playing quite right, the members will say, "Oh, it's a little heavy here," and "Oh, there's a patch down on court 3, that's not quite right." You get to know your court and your club, and then you can feed that back to the groundsman. Well, you're not getting that in Madrid, are you?
Second serve.
It's 11 points in a row on serve for Arvidsson.
Radwanska has requested
Set 3-2 the lead.
Arvidsson leads 3 games to 2.
Still a little bit grumpy, Radwanska.
Urszula, think Olympics.
Yeah.
She probably doesn't realise quite how close she is.
Had a chat with her coach, Thomas Viktorovsky. Change events. It's
handy because, yes, he's a new coach. He's come in place of Dad. Dad still works with the sisters back in Poland. But yeah, they've known him for years because he used to help them in juniors. So, yeah, he's always been around.
Love 15. Love 30.
Pressure building. She's getting a little misty-eyed too. Three more break points now.
Love 40.
I think she's held serve to love on her last 2 service games. That break point must seem like a long time ago for Radwanska at the start of this second set. Wants to look. Carolyn Kramer's on her way. I think she's accepted it's out. Yeah.
Replay the point. Love 40.
Oh, it's in. Still can't cancel the optician's appointment. Love 40. And that is wide.
Game.
8 points in a row for Arvidsson.
Arvidsson leads 4 games to 2.
Scoreboard's getting more comfortable by the minute.
Well, Sister Agnes is so good. Is she thinks clearly under pressure, and unfortunately for Urszula, it's reflecting the ranking. At the moment, at this point in the career, she does not think as clearly under pressure. And strategy is so key for her, you know, staying calm so she can plot her way. She has to build points. She doesn't hit easy winners, and that's why the scoreline's getting away from her.
Love 15. All.
She does beat herself up a little, doesn't she? That's in.
30-15.
She's got a sister, but the evil twins actually got quite a lot to say to her right at the moment. Foot fault called. It's all going Arvidsson's way.
40-15.
She's played well, this set, Arvidsson. She's got the mix right. I feel the level has come off a little from Radwanska, and I'm sure Big Sister's almost wishing she could get out there and help. I'm sure she's watching this match from somewhere.
Game, Arvidsson.
Set 5-2 now. Just the finishing touches
Arvidsson
required.
leads 5 games to 2.
Case of what might have been, perhaps, for Radwanska. First set seems pivotal, but it went against her after having so many chances. Coming up to an hour and a half, Radwanska serving to stay in the tournament at a set and 2-5 down.
As I'm with you there very much. I felt for Radwanska to really win this match that she did start well, but she really needed that first set. And I think the key for her was getting ahead and staying ahead. I just don't feel she's been comfortable playing this match from behind, really. Arvidsson, for me, is the better player out here. I think better all-round game, better balanced player. But Radwanska could have pinched this.
Third double.
With her aggressive game, it's a lot easier if you're up in the score line. She wouldn't have been so panicked on the drop shots. I think a lot of things would have gone well for her if she could have converted those first couple of early breaks to 3-love. If she'd have just kept a game or so away, she'd have been all right.
Wow. 30-15.
She's got a great half volley, Radwanska.
Which is often said to be the sign of a good player. And she is a good player, but she's unbalanced for me. Too many, lots of strengths, too many weaknesses at this point in her career.
First half volley, she's missed.
30 all.
Neither have looked that comfortable overhead today. But she's so desperate to make Arvidsson serve it out, obviously.
Well, she should, because Arvidsson's not a good closer. There was that Fed Cup match against Laura Robson. Sweden against Great Britain. 8 or 9 match points it was, and had to get Maria Strandland, the Swedish captain, to kind of talk her over the finish line.
Well, she does hold. Radwanska. Serving for the match, changes the mental scenery and all that.
Leads 5 games to 3.
She'll be hoping. Ball's the wrong end. It's the first mistake they've made.
Low 15. Low 30.
Wow. Offering a lifeline here, Arvidsson. Boy, oh boy, getting close to the semi-final of a Premier is all a little bit too much for the Swede.
And really, I mean, this is something we've seen a lot over the years from Arvidsson. She really suffers. She has to get Lars Wahlgren on just at the next change, just to help her over the finish line. There's nothing wrong with that. Radwanska
hangs in with a lot of help, you have to say. Breaks back to love. There was no sign of that. She can thank the scoreboard. Happens to so many.
Well, it was a terrible game, wasn't it? Mistake on the first point, double fault on the second, and you all of a sudden Radwanska getting very interested down the other end. It's a pattern we've seen before, and a lot of that has to do with the player getting too far ahead in their mind as to what is going to happen next, rather than, and it's such a cliche, it's staying in the moment. And once your mind gets in the future, then you get nervous, you get tense, and you kind of have to have the discipline to stop it from happening.
It's like when you get to the majors and you hear so much talk about, well, who could win a major then? Murray's been put in the frame, and Del Potro, you know, others, and the women too. But if you've not won a major, if you've not broken that ground, it's unbelievably tough. I mean, the way Kvitova served out for the Wimbledon title last year was unbelievable.
Yep. Because she wasn't thinking about the trophy lift.
Yeah.
Whereas Arvidsson is thinking, oh, semis of another tour event. I might win another tour event this year.
Yeah. So the match continues. Over an hour and a half. Radwanska serving to stay in the match at a set and 4-5 down. Stunning. The read, and then the hands.
15 love.
Yeah, let's take another look at this. Yeah, didn't quite, got a little air on that, and then just closed. Oh, she didn't even close down that well. Just great hands. You know, I'm going to get the balloons out when I get back. This is the way forward, training with balloons. It's awful when you keep getting those thoughts into your head. Oh, you know, could get to a semi here, and you have to kind of push them away, don't you?
$15-13. $15-14.
2 match points now for Arvidsson. Still battling.
30-40.
Took 4 set points to get the first set done. Gutsy, this drop shot.
Yes.
It was a very good point, and I don't want to pour cold water on it, but there was a real opportunity there for Arvidsson to be brave and take the ball out there. She had Radwanska on the defense, and she didn't take it and allowed the pole back into the point. Good competitor, this Urszula, isn't she?
Very much so.
Advantage, Radwanska.
Well played.
Juice.
Flirted with the line. Again, just a bit desperate, really.
Arvidsson.
Third match point. That'll do it. Sofia Arvidsson is through to her second semi-final of 2012. The smile, the skip, says it all. She's beaten the plucky qualifier Urszula Radwanska 7-5, 6-4.
Well, Arvidsson won on indoors on the hard in the States earlier this year, and having a good run on the clay. It took some doing. Poor coach must be exhausted. But a good win there for Arvidsson. It wasn't easy.
Well played and good luck in the French.
And she'll play the winner of either Simona Halep
a slow start this
of
morning.
Romania, or Dominika Svirkova, the number 4 seed from Slovakia. That's the last match. Now, the next match for you is Svetlana Pironkova against the 8th seed Kaia Kanepi of Estonia. Now, that's following the men's exhibition tennis in Paris. So if you keep an eye on that on Eurosport 2, when the men are finished, we'll be ready for Pironkova and Kanepi. That'll be followed then by Agnieszka Radwanska, the world number 3, the top seed, against Van Uitvank, the wild-carded Belgium, just 18 years old.